however, I started my coaching journey both in hiring a coach and in becoming a coach at KW Maps. So inside of Keller Williams real estate company, there's a coaching company you mentioned, Maps Coaching. And so I started there, but I came from a really different place because I wasn't a wholesale investor, but I was an investor because I bought land and I had a different company and I had glorious failures in my resume. Yeah. And then I'd worked alongside Brad Wilson, and running a large construction company is so much more complex than anything I'd ever done. Mm-hmm. And he hired me to come in to do that. And I did think I knew what I was doing, but I knew instantly I was kind of over my skis. Yeah. And just hoping they didn't find out before I could figure it out. And I walked into Brad about 18 months in and said, I think today's the first day I get my job. How did you keep me? How did you not fire me? And this will tell you everything about Brad. He said, most experts believe that it takes 18 months to conscious competence in a new role. Okay, good. Well, there you go. Good for most experts. And so, coming out of that, I went from that into coaching, the real estate world. However, because I had these other experiences, they kind of threw me their first big problem child. And this was a guy that had been through a whole bunch of their coaches. They couldn't find a match, but he was a really successful agent. He'd done something like 150 million in volume at a time that, that now a lot of people do that. It's still impressive to me. Yeah. It's amazing how casually we talk about these incredible numbers. Yeah. Right.
You get jaded or you get desensitized just like anything else.
Oh, I did 30 million last month. Some people will do that the whole year and that will be an amazing year for them.
Or career.
Yeah. Or a career. And so, what I learned is he wasn't a problem child. He was a business thinker. I had an hour call with him. I was his coach for over 2 years and coaching to me isn't, I know, and you don't know, and I'm going to tell you. Coaching
is how most people think of it though.
A lot of people do. What's funny about the high drivers, when they're coming to get a coach, something's happened. Yeah. And they're coming like, I need a coach. Mm-hmm. And they'll say, just tell me what to do. Oh, come on. I love that one. Tell me what to do. Double your business and double your revenue. Tell me how to do it. I'm like, so what you are saying is, even if I tell you, you're not going to do it, right? Because high drivers don't operate. You like people just telling you what to do? No, it's got to make sense. And
the best way to make sure I don't do something is
100%. And coaching to me is very different than that. So coaching is, in fact, in our company, Business Maps, our mission is we create sacred partnerships that require the best in us to bring out the best in them. Mm-hmm. That's how I view coaching. Coaching is someone that is skilled, but joins you on the front line of your business week to week, working through all the things. It's a combination of holding someone accountable, but it's also financial forecasting. It's pushing someone. It's fleshing out ideas. It's working through challenges with people. It's all those things. And so I was very fortunate to come kind of with that package, having gone through the Brad Wilson School of learning. And I just found my way into coaching these bigger producers. In fact, we were talking about, a friend in common who's been on your show, Kenny Klaus. Mm-hmm. I got to be a coach to Kenny for over 5 years. And, I say Kenny wasn't successful because I was his coach. I believe Kenny was successful because he believes in learning and coaching and he's really driven, and our partnership worked. Yeah. I tell our coaches all the time, the second you take credit for something your client has done, you're embezzling from their efforts.
Right. Absolutely.
That's not sacred partnership.
No, not at all. And I think that you kind of see this sometimes, some people like, this person's successful because he's like, no, that person's successful. You were there. Yeah. You're part of their story. Maybe you get a chapter.
That's it. A great coach will be the aggregate knowledge of who they're coaching. Mm-hmm. But it's the frontline innovators that are out doing that work and doing things. In fact, so to answer your question, the two different companies, I found myself coaching. Gary Keller has this famed room of his top producers. Mm-hmm. It was once called the top 100, but now there's more than 100.
Got it.
And I found myself coaching about 2/3 of that room. And what an awesome experience for me. I mean,
incredible honor.
It is an incredible honor. And I would sit in that room quiet because, you know, I didn't want to be that know-it-all in the corner. And I understood.
And Gary's talking.
But so are these guys. And these guys are, you know, these are the industry leaders. And Gary and I started to get to know each other. In fact, the very first time I ever talked to him face to face was on stage in front of about 18,000 people. And we had done a group call to prep for that. And then he didn't ask any part of that. Mm-hmm. You know, that was exciting. But I got to know, that kind of a producer. I mean, there was an incredible lady that I got to be involved in coaching my last year before I came to do this. She did 1,300 transactions. You know, these are big, as you know.
Monumental numbers.
These are big businesses. Yeah. You have a big business. And most of them have additional businesses like you do.
Right.
And so I had been approached by another person there to open this business side of it. Mm-hmm. And I had done some other things. I had another company I sold and some things like that. And, you know, I mean, how do you meet those people every week and work with them every week and not feel the fire to do stuff? You know, and so it's really...
We actually had this conversation with the team, right? The media team that watches and edits this and does all this amazing stuff. And like, we watch Entrepreneur come in every single week.
Yeah.
It's hard to continue doing what we do.
Yeah.
Watching everyone like comes in like, here's how I made $1 million last year.
Yep.
Yeah. It's absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Jason Lewis caused me a week of sleepless nights, that jerk. No, not really. But he, you know, yeah, I mean, it's an inspiring place to work. And I get so excited and proud of these guys. And you know, it is a sacred partnership. And so I wasn't interested in doing it because I've had the seasons of life where I kind of invested my entrepreneurial spirit into a company that I didn't own. And it's just not, I didn't want to fully do that again. And then Gary Keller took it over.
Yeah. And
he and I remember the first time we actually talked about it, I was in his office. It was really the first time it was just he and I. Mm-hmm. And it was for about 3 hours. I left. I think my brain had melted out of my left ear. But we talked for about 5 months and he would ask me to forecast a business. And that's part of what I love to do more than anything else is you give me a business model and you know, I'll open up a spreadsheet and we'll start creating tools and forecasting and modeling that thing. I mean, just, I don't know how to coach and not do that.
Yeah.
I love it. And so I came back to him with three options and said, I think any one of these models, I was real careful because I thought whatever we pick here, he's going to say, no, go do that. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want to be like, we'll ride unicorns into the new year. I wanted something real. And I came back, I said, any one of these inside of 10 years, I think is doing 100 million annual revenue. And he said, you are thinking too small. You need to stop thinking in terms of 100 million and start thinking in terms of $1 billion a year. And this is the only person in my life actively at the time that's done that.
Yeah.
So all my excuses of be realistic, they're gone. And it was hard. I mean, I remember going back and looking at things and saying, okay, well, what if instead of one annual convention, we did 3? And what if there were 60,000 people? Who's done that? Well, Tony Robbins has done that. You know, and so I didn't just make stuff up. I went looking for the models, but I came back. It was like $1,000,087 or something like this. Mm-hmm. But that's what we're building now. Yeah. And it really did set the bar high for what this could really be so that when we're in the slog of getting it going, you know, there'd be some long-term vision for it. But our business isn't created to coach realtors in a traditional real estate business. Mm-hmm. We coach everybody else.